When I started my fitness journey back in 2015, I had the skinny fat physique. I had fat covering my abs and hips, making them appear wide, while I also had narrow shoulders with low levels of muscle mass. First I thought that in order to fix this problem, I simply had to do a ton of cardio and that should melt the fat away. But it was not playing out as I hoped it would. In fact, I was actually getting more out of shape by doing this. Sure, I lost some weight and body fat, but I still kept the skinny fat look, just at a lower body weight. I simply became a smaller version of skinny fat. But why did this happen? Well, because cardio is a very ineffective way to get a ripped physique, especially if you start out as skinny fat. In this video, I'm going to cover why this is, what you should do instead, and also give you some guidelines on what kind and amount of cardio that might be worth doing. Okay, so first of all, I want to cover why cardio is ineffective for fat loss in the first place. Here's the deal. If your goal is to get lean and muscular, you don't need to do any cardio. Yep, you heard that right. The only really effective fat loss tools you have available is your diet and strength training. And here's what I mean by that. If you run for 50 minutes at a decent pace, you will typically burn around 500 to 700 calories depending on how fast you run. That is the equivalent of 2 Snickers bars. In other words, you will be running for 50 minutes to burn off 2 Snickers. Not only that, running for 50 minutes also spikes appetite, which means you will have to use a lot more willpower to stay in a calorie deficit. Fact is that research has shown that people who think they can lose body fat by just doing cardio actually end up fatter than when they began. There's also the time aspect to this. Most of us are busy, right? And don't have all the day to do cardio, since we also have to do resistance training, which is way more important since more muscle burns more fat at rest and is also the tissue that makes up a ripped looking physique. So for these reasons, cardio is a very ineffective way to achieve a calorie deficit required to lose body fat. But not only is cardio ineffective for fat loss, it is also ineffective for muscle growth. And this is especially true for skinny fat guys as well. The problem that most of us skinny fat individual has is this. We are hard gainers when it comes to building muscle, but easy gainers when it comes to gaining fat. The way that cardio makes it harder for us to build muscle is by further messing with our ability to put on muscle, something that is already hard for us to do from the very beginning. And this is true because excessive endurance training interferes with strength and muscle growth. Not only that, by doing a ton of cardio, a lot of additional calories that you eat when trying to build muscle might potentially go towards fat storage. This is true because the increased stress levels caused by doing excessive cardio can lead to fat storage, mostly around the midsection. For these reasons, the standard weight loss prescription of 1 to 2 hours of cardio 4 to 6 days per week is far from a good idea, both when you are in a calorie deficit trying to lose fat or in a slight calorie surplus trying to gain muscle. So, since cardio will affect fat loss, strength and muscle growth negatively, while also increasing your stress levels, risking fat storage around the midsection, a much better way to go about achieving a ripped body is focusing on heavy weightlifting and let the diet take care of your fat loss or muscle growth goals. You see, even though a heavy weightlifting session may not burn quite as many calories as a high intensity cardio session would, it still burns quite a bit more than what many people think, and definitely enough to speed up fat loss. Not only that, intense weightlifting also leads to the afterburn effect, or which is also called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, or EPOC as it's called in scientific terms. This is an increased rate of oxygen uptake that occurs after high intense exercise and results in additional calories burned after the workout is over. In fact, it's been shown that a single weightlifting session can elevate your metabolic rate for several days. Furthermore, resistance training is the only way to preserve maximal amounts of muscle while you are losing body fat. You don't want to simply lose weight, you want to lose fat and keep or even build muscle, right? So, by mitigating cardio and focusing on weightlifting while eating at a slight calorie deficit, you should be able to lose little to no muscle and strength while you are getting leaner over time. Another very important reason for putting emphasis on weightlifting and not on cardio is because skinny fat individuals must focus on building up decent amounts of muscle mass, especially using key exercises to build up the right proportions. And this will be achieved by getting stronger in the gym, also known as progressive overload. And just as I said earlier, too much cardio interferes negatively with strength and muscle growth, and this is detrimental for us skinny fat individuals. Okay, so now with all of this said, is cardio completely useless? Well, it's not. Cardio is actually good when done at the right time and for the right amount. If you're after fat loss, cardio can actually help you burn more fat, but only after you have your weightlifting and diet in check. and also after you have ensured that you are not going to be doing too much cardio. Also, it seems that some cardio can be beneficial when you are bulking to put on muscle as well, as I talked about in an older video that I created. Now, when I mention this, a lot of people say that they must do cardio to stay healthy. So what's the case here? Well, yes, you need to do cardio to stay healthy, but the amount you need is easily achievable without spending time doing a ton of cardio in the gym or outside. All the cardio that you need to stay healthy is a brisk walk that raises your heart rate a bit each day. And since most of us have to go places anyway, consider taking a walk or your bike instead of your car, bus or train when going places. This is what I like to call lifestyle cardio, and it is very effective for promoting health and actually improving fat loss a bit, since you bump up your daily activity without really thinking about it too much. But if you want to do some additional cardio as a skinny fat individual, then here is my recommendations. Number 1, do lifestyle cardio like walking and cycling, etc. This is low intensity cardio that doesn't activate endurance pathways, nor does it steal from recovery, while it at the same time helps you burn more calories. Number 2 would be to do 1 or max 2 sessions of HIIT cardio per week. I recommend doing 8 to 12 minute intervals. Cardio workouts like this is very similar to pump training with weights, and it actually promotes muscle growth. However, doing too much of it and you will risk overtaxing your capacity to recover. Now, I'm interested in your opinion here. What do you enjoy most and what type of cardio will you do? Will you go for low intensity cardio, aka lifestyle cardio, or will you go for a couple of HIIT sessions per week? Let me know down in the comments right now, guys. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe below, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Bye.